Hello, everyone. 8:32. Who do we think we are, eh? Welcome back to another edition of the Absolute Women's Football Show. And what a week. What a week it has been, with some impressive wins, shock points, and mountains to climb for some teams. So let's get into it, shall we? But of course, I can never do this by myself. Lovely panel this evening. Got Chloe Squared and now Paolo. Everyone doing okay? All good?
Yeah, yep. Great.
Oh, yeah, all good.
Hey, very good indeed. Now, Matthew in the chat, thank you very much. You've been keeping us up to date with everything that's been going on. It is currently 3-0 between Chelsea and Crystal Palace. Kat Macario's second goal of the game, and Palace down to 10, of course, for that penalty that got the third. And it was Alison Swaby who was sent off for denying a goal-scoring opportunity for Sierka Newskin. So there we go. Good evening to everyone else in the chat. We've got our lovely Graham. We've got the lovely Emily. And have people noticed Graham is a slightly different colour in the chat this evening with a little logo by his name? That is because we teased last week about you can now become a member of the pod. And by doing that, you get really cool... not only your name can change colour, but you get access to some emojis as well. Some, what's the word? Ruined me little intro. Exclusive, there we go. Exclusive emojis that you can only get by becoming a member. So if you want to become one, then as soon as you go onto YouTube, there is a member option. And if you're interested, there you go. You can become a member too. So Graham, if you want to throw some emojis into the chat so people know what they're missing, then please do. Emily, you're absolutely right. Gura Wrighton needed to go back into the fantasy team. I don't know where I am with my fantasy points at the minute. There's games all over the place. And good evening to Sean, who we've astounded because we're early.
If it consoles you, Sean, my makeup isn't done.
Yeah, Paul will be ready at 8:40. Don't worry. He'll be on normal time as usual. Now, so what we're going to do this evening then, we're going to start with the Championship, best league in the world. We're going to go on to Champions League, finish with the WSL and some NWSL news as well. But first up, we're going to cover our news as always. And good evening, Simon, who's right on time for our news. Now, I did just have really positive stuff, but in the last hour or so, there's been an article that's kind of changed the way we're going to start the show. So we're not going to spend too long on it because the premise behind it is kind of outraged most of the women's football community. So we know we're not alone in talking about this, but we knew it was an important point we needed to cover. This was an article that came out about Aluko and some of the comments that she's made about Ian Wright. And essentially, some of the claims she's made, if there's anyone that you don't try and cancel out of the women's game, it's Ian Wright. Now, the former England and Chelsea forward, Aluko, was speaking on Radio 4's Women's Hour. And she said, I've worked with Ian a long time. I think he's a brilliant broadcaster. But I think he's aware of just how much he's doing in the women's game, and I think he should be aware of it. When asked to clarify if she thinks it's wrong for Wright to be a figure at the forefront of women's football coverage, she said, I don't know about wrong, but I think we need to be conscious and we need to make sure women are not being blocked from having a pathway into broadcasting in the women's game. I can't dominate the men's game in the way that Ian can, for example. Now, lots and lots of people have commented, so you'll probably see it all over your Twitter feeds. But Catherine Batts, who we referenced quite a lot on the show, also said, Ian Wright doesn't need to justify his presence in women's football. The game needs him, and it's a better place with him. And for those who don't know, he's also been paying for a player's ACL rehab as well. One of the many gestures he's done off his own back because he can and because he cares about the women's game. So, Chloe Bear, I'm going to come to you first. Obviously, this has all happened relatively soon, but how are you feeling about this? Because Ian Wright's an icon in both games, and he's done nothing but good things for the women's game, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I absolutely love Ian Wright because I do feel like he genuinely cares about the women's game. Like his granddaughter obviously is in an academy setting, so she plays, but he's been involved way before that. Like the stuff he's been doing with particularly the Arsenal women's team, like when he's got with Lotta, and he's done stuff with Alessia and Leah, and I think he genuinely does care, and like you said, he's done so many good things for the game, and I don't think he's taking anything away from it. Like I think he's showing his passion, he's showing that he cares, and he's getting these opportunities because he knows his stuff. Like he's gone away, he's done his research, he knows exactly what he's doing. He's not getting it because he's a man and they need to like make it equal, like make a gender equal bench, because they don't do that for men's football, do they? You don't see a panel full of women, or you don't see. It's very rare that you'll see a woman on a panel for a man's football game. So why would they do it just for a women's game, just to even it up? Like he is someone who I feel deserves women's football ally more than Reece James does, just because his sister is Lauren and he's gone to watch a couple of games that she's played in, which was for genuine reason he got that award. Ian, and I just think her comments are so wrong for so many reasons.
Yeah, 100%. And our second glow of the evening, come to you next. How do you feel as well? Because like Emily said in the chat, I'm the first to get behind girl power and our voice has been heard, but we need people like Ian Wright in the game, because sometimes, unfortunately, to certain people, they'll only listen to another man's voice, won't they? So how did you feel when this came out earlier?
Yeah, I mean, the other Glorious pretty much said all that needs to be said about Ian Wright. He really does. He's not just one that is there, because he's had an amazing career himself in the men's game. He does all the research and he properly supports women football and uses his sort of platform to, put it out there a bit more, because he knows he has such a huge platform. I mean, I think I kind of get what Aluko is trying to get out, not with, the Ian Wright thing. That's just no. But yeah, when women's football's covered, we do need people that are going to do the research, and no matter if they're male, female, trans, or whatever they are, we need people that are going to do the research and actually sort of have an idea of what they're talking about, rather than just being there because, you play football wherever. That men's football players just getting a go because they play football years ago. They need to be able to do all the research and all that thing and actually care about the game, rather than just So, but going after Ian Wright, no, I disagree with any on that.
Yeah, and you wonder sometimes, when it all comes across, journalists and some newspapers can, mix words, turn it to make it into clickbait and those kinds of things. But Paul, how about you, as a male in the women's game, being a part of this community? We need all voices, like Chloe was saying, right? We don't just need one particular voice. That's not what this community is. And therefore it shouldn't be reflected like that, should it?
Yeah. I mean, I am conscious I have to be a little bit more careful as a man, because I am very aware that whenever men in football in general challenge or attack female journalists, a lot of them don't do it for good reasons. And we know about the stick that Aluko has got from certain other disgraced ex-footballers, and that's reprehensible. But she's way off here. And all she's done with this is alienate women who are like, really, Ellie? You're picking Ian Wright, who is very, very clearly an example for men to follow in the women's game. But also, and our fellow member of Team Chaos, Ant, made this point on Twitter, and I didn't even think about it because I just saw it and went. I took it as, really, Annie? You're taking on Ian Wright? You're taking on the guy who has set up coaching funds to help female coaches. Obviously, he's helping the Stoke City player Kaylee McDonald that you mentioned with her ACL. He regularly promotes and talks about people like Izzy Christensen, Karen Carney. He's on a podcast with Jill Scott. He regularly talks about women's football with Jill Scott on The Overlap and Offside, which is one of the biggest football podcasts out there in the sport, certainly in the English game. He's started up the podcast with Steph Horton now, where they both where they discuss. I can't remember what it's called, but they definitely discuss.
Crossways, I believe.
It's something like that, but it's definitely the pair of them sit and specifically discuss issues in the women's game because they were very about the pitches, weren't they? A few weeks ago.
Yes.
And it's a massive smack in the face. Is what Ant said, and I can agree with him because, yes, female journalists need to be promoted, and obviously on this panel, there's 3-1. But also, and I am happy with that and proud of that. But also, I think there are great male journalists. Tom Gary, of course, talks about it as the most standout thing. And for Aluko to say, right, okay, I am blocking someone else from covering the women's game on this podcast. I'm blocking, which is no, I'm not. Simply for the sense that if this pod wanted an all-female panel one week, it would have an all-female panel one week. And if Ian Wright, I'm sure if Ian Wright was in a position where he was given the chance to go to, say, a WSL game and felt that he was stopping or he was getting too much work, he'd probably turn around and say, do you know what, actually, hire one of the great female journalists in the game. And it's noticeable, Annie Aluko works in the men's game. She actively works in the men's game. She actively is trying to claim that the men's game should not have a gender bias in coverage, which is absolutely true. But you can't have it both ways, Annie. You can't say I want women to be involved in the men's game, and then turn around and say, actually, this man's a bit too successful, even though he's one of the most vocal supporters of the women's game. He's the wrong gender. No. That it doesn't work like that. No.
The only thing I could possibly think she's getting at is if maybe a budding female journalist, if some producers somewhere along the line went, oh, we'll get Ian Wright in because he's such an advocate of the game, like he's a great person to have on, and then they therefore didn't look at someone else to bring in. But even then, that's a massive assumption and a massive leap to have that he particularly, is forcing people out of the game. He's not in the slightest. He's there because, as everyone has said, and everyone in the chat as well, so thank you for that, he's such a voice of reason and someone that everyone listens to, regardless of what team they support, which, as we've seen on women's football Twitter, can be very divisive. But he's someone that just genuinely cares about the game. And regardless of gender, that's exactly who we need in. So yeah.
I also think, and he doesn't realise that a lot of there is, because of the issue perhaps where men's football is the one to be in. Male journalists who actively cover women's football have to deal sometimes with the scorn of their peers, because it's like, oh, well, you're not covering real football. You're not important, because obviously that attitude is still in there. And
yeah, from that certain section, yeah, absolutely.
She sat there like she doesn't realise that men covering women's football are A, just as proud as women to do it, and B, have, she's alienating some of the most staunch defenders of women's football by doing that.
Yeah.
And, if it's me, if it's Tom Gary, if it's, trying to think of some other major male defenders of it.
Well, maybe that's the thing. The fact that we can only name really two shows it as well. That we need surely two men, and we know there are more, but two of the main men.
Actually,
surely they don't have the monopoly.
Yeah, I can mention Mark Schwarzer as well, who's on the Sky WSL coverage and who took some stick initially because it was like, oh, you're just sticking a championship footballer on there for name. But he's really, Mark Schwarzer again has embraced it, and the way he talks about women's football is very clearly as someone, any Aluko would probably say cynically, it's because he wants to get into the men's game. So what? You want, if you only want to cover the women's game, you refuse to do men's games. If you want to be a standard bearer for female journalists in the women's game, go and refuse to do men's games. Oh, wait, that doesn't work like that because you want to have your cake and eat it, like Graham says in the chat.
Yeah. And I think, as Matthew rightly says, the whole point of this is that the WSL and women's football in particular is a place where people of all genders, all sexual orientations, every single person is welcome and appreciated. And it shouldn't be segregated in, well, you're a man, you're taking opportunities away. Like there are people in every single job on this planet who they don't put the effort in, they don't care. Like you find that in every single industry, but that is not the case here. So there's not a leg to stand on. So it was just a very bizarre article. So I made sure to read a couple of them just to make sure that was the actual case they were reporting. But it's the fact that everyone across Twitter has gone, no, that is not the take. So everyone has kind of come together on that one. And Annie said, this is the least amount of TV work she's got over the past 18 months or so, ever since the case against who shall not be named has been going on.
Part of that is a crap pundit, Annie.
But comments like this aren't helping, are they?
No,
aren't helping. So
it's because it gives men who want to an excuse to go, oh, she just hates men.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there are some very dark corners of Twitter where those cretins linger, and they will use every opportunity to come out and be spiteful, and it just doesn't help. There's no that's exactly what I was going to say, Graham, actually. Women's football is a constant battle against misogynistic comments, so the last thing it needs is people within it going after others, and that's exactly it. That's exactly the point, Graham, so thank you for that. And it's just ridiculous. Tony Sin in the chat, evening Tony. Ian Wright's the one that doesn't shy away to talk about women's football on huge platforms like Stick to Football, like you said. Promotes it without any like hidden agenda of, oh, this will make us look good or anything like that. It's purely because he loves it.
He has to deal with comments from other men of, oh, shut up, Wrighty. You're only doing this for, your white knightness. You're only doing this for your image. He has to deal with comments from some female presenting people as well, presumably. Because stuff like this from Eni Aluko, which is basically saying he's doing it because it's his image and he's dominating it. And it's like, no, because all you're doing is using the same argument that you hate people using against you about quotas and being picked and whatever else. And you think that because you are the person you are, you can get away with it and you won't be called out by people within women's football. And all you've done now is the next time you turn up on the BBC trying to do a women's football game, women's football fans will go, see Annie, we'd rather have Wrighty because he knows what
mute or switch off. Yeah, absolutely. Because it's just, the game is still in its infancy. We don't need that kind of negativity. We don't need to cast people out who we don't think belong, because you're absolutely right. That's what, you know, many female journalists and broadcasters could argue that's happening in the men's game. So you can't, you just can't do it. So just end of story. But yeah, we wanted to just bring that to you all on the pod and in the chat. So thank you for getting involved, because we just thought there was no need, and there's certainly no place for it in women's football. On a happier note, Me Official scored to get the fourth. It's 4-0 Chelsea Crystal Palace. And as Tony rightly says, her first goal involvement since she came back from her ACL injury. So fantastic to have Mia Official back on the pitch. So for those who missed it earlier, Chelsea currently up 4-0 against Crystal Palace, and Palace have also had a red card, with Swaby being sent off. Right then, back to the rest of our news, and I've got a bit European for this next bit. And we're going to go a bit to Canada as well. Now, as most leagues across Europe are wrapping up for the season, just a few updates then. So Juventus have been officially crowned Serie A champions for the season with 2 games to go. This will be the 6th time they've won the title. Inter Milan have qualified for the Champions League for the first time in their history. So well done to them. The third qualifying place is still up for grabs, but it's going to be 99% going to Roma, unless Fiorentina can do something magical with about a 13-goal difference in their last 2 matches. But you never know. Strange things have happened. Still a battle between Napoli and Sampdoria about who's going to be relegated. Only 1 relegation spot and 1 point between them. So that's going to go right down to the final day, I think. And we've also got officially Parma women and Ternana women have been promoted from Serie B, and there's a battle between Bologna and Genoa for that 3rd promotion spot, because Serie A is expanding next season. So there we go. I'll keep you updated there. The Premier League in France, they've got their match day 21 of 22 this evening right now, in case you want any French football as well. There are 2 relegation spots here in the French league. Guingamp have officially been relegated, but it's now between Reims and Strasbourg on who else will be joining them. And they play each other on the final day of the season, okay, which is next week. They then have, if we talked about this before, a weird playoff system, the top 4 spots. So a bit like the NWSL, but they do top 8, don't they? They do top 4. So this was basically introduced to stop Lyon from winning all the time, to bring some more competition in. So what they do, the top 4, they then go into like a knockout tournament almost. So it's 1st versus 4th, 2nd versus 3rd. The 2 finalists get Champions League straight away. And then whoever wins that 2nd knockout gets a 3rd spot. So even if you win the league, you don't necessarily win the league. Okay, so just because you're top doesn't mean you automatically win. So that is in France.
I am going to correct you slightly, Freya, with live reporting, because at the moment, I've just gone and had a look, and Strasbourg are beating Saint-Étienne, which means Strasbourg go above Saint-Étienne. So it is between Reims, Saint-Étienne and Strasbourg at the moment for that final.
And this is it. This is why we like live reporting, because it changes. I only did these notes today and they're already wrong.
And also, Paris Saint-Germain are losing.
What? Who are they playing tonight again?
Le Havre. Le Havre, yes.
Le Havre winning against PSG. Oh, that's phenomenal.
This is my Francophile. So basically, Le Havre are currently sitting.
They were 8th, weren't they?
They are sitting 8th, and they are now fully safe, obviously, but they could go up to 7th. Paris FC are currently winning and could catch Paris Saint-Germain as well.
Paris FC have had such a good season. Very, very impressed with them. Very impressed.
They could finish ahead of Paris Saint-Germain, which will be very, very funny, since Paris Saint-Germain have a certain Lioness backup goalie. And this week we're linked with Everton as well. Did you see this?
Oh, was that the really bad AI?
Which there was a really bad AI thing that
terrible.
Didn't look like Everton at all. Like Everton's leaving Manchester. Come on. Let's.
Never going to happen.
Imagine the meltdown though. Like,
Imagine.
we're known as Team Chaos. Come on, Mary's having words.
She's like, come on, come and join us. Oh, Tony's got a good shout. Hope Strasbourg do stay up.
Oh, yeah.
Morrissey, of course. That's where she went after she left Chelsea. Yes, of course. So fingers crossed then. Fingers crossed they do. But again, 2 matches left, all to play for.
And Saint-Étienne play Guingamp on the last day of the season, so they already relegated Guingamp. So Saint-Étienne is still in the best possible position at the moment.
Oh, say that again, because I've heard Guingamp, and then what did you say?
I say Guingamp.
Guingamp. What?
Guingamp or Guingamp.
All of the vowels.
But that is because I have a southern French accent, and I count weirdly, and I got told off by my French teacher because I count weirdly. I
Interesting.
use different words, and apparently my German accent when I speak in German is very yokel as well because it's proper Rhinelander, which is like German
just
Jordan.
doing it properly. Doing it properly, Paul. That's what it is.
Rhineland is like German Welsh, apparently. So.
Oh, well, there you go. See, no, the Englishmen will have it, will they? And that. Well, that's what we love. Another league for everyone. Something we were raving about last week. The NSL, the Northern Super League, the first Canadian Women's Pro League kicked off last Thursday morning, our time, Wednesday night. And it was Quinn, the legend that they are, who scored the first ever NSL goal for Vancouver Rise against Calgary Wild, which was the only goal of the game. It was the winner. There was also AFC Toronto versus Montreal Roses, which ended again in a 1-0. Paul's very happy with that. With a second-minute goal from Tanya Boychuk. And it continues again this weekend. So we've got Halifax Tides with their first game versus Calgary Wild on Saturday. And Ottawa Rapids, their first game of the competition versus AFC Toronto. And then we've got Vancouver Rise and Montreal Roses again taking place on Sunday. So remember, there's only 6 clubs in the NSL, but this is their first ever season. And it's so incredibly exciting already. Yeah, we tried to ask for merch, didn't we, Paul? But no one's got back to us, annoyingly.
I mean, I got a tweet from Rosda, so I'll take that. You know.
So we'll take it. We will take it indeed. And we're going to be talking about the NWSL a little bit later, so do stick around for that. Right then, with the news over, let's start then, shall we? Best league in the world. The Women's Championship. Now, again, the championship ends a bit earlier than the WSL. And Paul, we're going to come to you first because it's the teams at the bottom that really need to pull their finger out, don't they? And actually do something with this, because at the weekend, Sheffield United versus Blackburn ended in a 0-0 draw. And you just think, if you look at the table, a 0-0 was not what either of them needed. A point's great, but not convincing, was it? So yeah, talk us through this one, please. Sheffield Blackburn.
I mean, I'm gonna access my inner Rosie and just say, God, it was shit. Like honestly, there are games that live long in the memory, and there is Sheffield United versus Blackburn Rovers. Like,
I was going to say, teed it up with best league in the world. I shouldn't have started with that game, should I?
I mean, it's the best league in the world for insomniacs, this particular game, because you had 12 shots. 2 of them were on target, 1 each. And the one on target was generous in Sheffield United's case because it was literally straight into Alex Brooks' hands. Mm. It was more of a long ball forward that kind of technically counted as a shot because it might have gone in if Alex Brooks had had a touch of the Mary Earps.
Touch of the Mary Earps. Is that what we're calling it now?
And
oh dear.
Yeah, just I mean, for the neutral, the game was shite. Like, that is the match report. Sorry, everybody. You're not getting much more than that. It was horrific. It was the kind of game where you sit and question your life choices. Like, genuinely, it's just
Nothing else going on. So you go into this deep philosophy of that.
it's up there. Like, you know how they used to say about cricket, it seems to last weeks. This game made 90 minutes last a week. It was just horrific. But as far as the neutral goes, it was ideal because A, it means Portsmouth didn't lose any ground on either team.
Wow. Yes. If we have a look.
And also, it sucked Blackburn back into that. If they'd won, they were safe, realistically. Because they would have been 8 points clear of Sheffield United. And you can't see Sheffield United overhauling that. You can't realistically see Portsmouth overhauling that and only one team go down anyway. But with that, suddenly life gets interesting, particularly as the game this weekend is Portsmouth v Blackburn.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so incredibly interesting, because the game itself was horrific, but it was the perfect result for us neutrals because this is Portsmouth's last game as well. Remember?
Yes, because they don't play.
Because they don't play the final weekend of the season. If they win this weekend, they're safe. Or even not even if they win, if they get a better result than Sheffield United, they're safe.
Which really, the way they're playing, I think they might be fine. Considering we all went, they're going to get relegated, because it looked like it for so long. It just shows you.
Yeah, we buried them in January, haven't we? We buried Portsmouth and said, I think it was when they lost to Bristol City, possibly. No, it wouldn't have been when they lost to... Yes, it was. I think they lost like 3-0, 4-0 to Bristol City or something like that in February. And I'm sure Danny was on, and Danny was like, he was at a wake. Danny was like, I really wanted Portsmouth to stay up, but I couldn't see it happening. And then suddenly, here they are. With 3 wins in the last 5, I think.
And here they are right at the bottom. Yeah. There's something bizarre going on. And if they play the way that they have been, then they're not gonna make it, are they?
I mean, Blackburn are playing the season out. Blackburn were playing like a team that thought they were safe. They weren't.
Yeah, do enough to kind of keep it.
They just did enough to kind of finish things off. And now they're sucked back in, which is bad for Portsmouth because it means Blackburn might actually turn up and play. Particularly as you say, Portsmouth are in the best position, but Southampton are stumbling towards the end of the season. Southampton are in absolute freefall.
Because, Southampton are on 18 points. You'd think 18 would be safe, but actually, those others, if they keep getting a point here, a point there, they're slowly bringing them back into it, aren't they?
I mean, they're going to have to... I don't think they're going to go down because the goal difference is ridiculous. And 11 points clear, they are safe. But they're only safe because of the incompetence of others.
Yes.
And that's the key thing.
Yes. Bit of a... Yeah, it's almost as if those last 4 have kind of like they've been done for a while, and they just haven't been able to pick themselves back up again and find a good bit of rhythm.
I mean, if Sheffield United have to win their final 2 games,
as
simple as that. If they match Portsmouth's result, then they will have to win on the last day of the season, which is against Sunderland, I believe. Sheffield United.
Our the lasses.
Indeed. And Portsmouth, if they could have asked for a last game, I think they would have asked for either Blackburn or Sheffield United at home. Like, the fixture list has been kind to them.
Yes.
And
they can go for it that last day of the season.
It's ironic they need Southampton to do them a bit of a favour, though.
Yeah. I mean, I think for Southampton, the way they are, I mean, we're going to talk about Southampton in a minute, but I think the way they are at the minute, they just need something to get them back into it. So, in fact, why don't we just go straight there? Chloe, we'll come to you because this was on Friday night, wasn't it? So Southampton 1, London City 4. So again, London City doing what they need to do to take them to the top. But yeah, take us through this one, please.
Yeah, I mean, I think from the off you could see which way the game would go, and you hoping it wouldn't go that way, but pretty early on, London City Lionesses took the lead. Just great build-up play from them. Ball was played into Izzy Goodwin. It almost got caught under her feet. She did well not to stumble over it, but managed to put it in. And yeah, pretty much London City Lionesses just dominated the first half because they scored another one where they sort of managed to dispossess Southampton on the halfway line. Again, great build-up play. And for some reason, Southampton just left Izzy Goodwin just wide open, just so much space. And she put it in again, which meant obviously 2-0 up, 2 goals for her. Then just before the half-time, they got, again, dispossession. I think it's really defence where they just fallen down. And I think they're pretty much safe, so I think they've just... That's it, the season's done for them, really. But yeah, they got dispossessed sort of halfway into their own half. Ball's played across outside the box, and it was Chantal Boyholorka who ended up on the end of it and took sort of first touch shot in. Yeah, the game was pretty much done at half-time, but Saints did give it a bit of a go in the second half and did manage to get at least a goal to show for it. It was a possible handball and sort of build up for it, but you could see the Lionesses players were appealing for it, but nothing doing there. And it was Molly Pike who ended up getting the ball sort of near the box. Had a little, defender was sort of facing away from her, and she did a little, sort of took it away from them, and then just had a shot, and yeah, got at least something from the game. But then London City Lionesses had a corner in 62nd minute. Kind of went to waste, but then they quickly got back possession, and it was crossed into box, and who else to get a hat-trick? Izzy Goodwin headed it in. In fact, she was involved in all of the goals on that night because she assisted the Chantal Boyholorka goal. But yeah, it was pretty much what you could see happened in that game. Southampton were just, their season's pretty much done. They're pretty much safe. I think they're just looking forward to the break and then getting back into it next season. And London City Lioness is obviously trying to go for promotion and look fairly likely to be able to get that promotion.
Yeah, look like they're going to do it. I'm just laughing at the chat. So we can confirm it is 4-0. Chelsea have done it full time, and that helps Villa out. Thank you very much, Chelsea. Okay, as Graham puts, Izzy Goodwin is inevitable. However, did we all see on the stream that they misspelled her name and it said Godwin instead of Goodwin? And you just think, literally, just put the names in, check them against the team sheet. Done. That should be one job and done. Tony St. Birmingham has to go up for the sake of football. Yes, absolutely. And again, can't have London City get promoted. I've got love for former Chelsea players and my fellow Swedes, but they cannot get promoted. I think a lot of people might be on the same bandwagon as that one. And again, Villa Birmingham would be an incredible derby to go to. If so, yeah, I'm all on the Birmingham train for them to get promoted, actually. And there's only 2 points in it, right at the top. So we've actually got a battle at the top. Charlton, who we're going to talk about next, actually, just outside, but finishing third, which is great. But yeah, a battle of the 2 at the top, and a battle of a possible 3 at the bottom. Right then, we're going to come to me, and I'm going to talk you through Charlton 1, Newcastle 1. And I do have to say a massive shout out to Graham for this one, who was live tweeting me through the whole thing, and I absolutely loved it. Now, Sophie Whitehouse, what a player. Definitely earned player of the match. 15 shots for Newcastle, 10 were on target, and only 1 found the back of the net. So this one did end 1-1. Now, you'd be forgiven for thinking that this might have been a higher scoreline. In Newcastle's favour, the way they've been playing, they've been managing to get stuff done, especially Beth Lumsden has been on fire this season. And we've said it since last season, since we've been talking about the Championship, do not underestimate what Charlton can do. And that's exactly what they did at the weekend. So Whitehouse was called into action really early on through Freya Gregory, but it was the home side who took the lead in the 24th minute. Ellie Brazil, we know what she can do. Picked up the ball on the right-hand side, and Newcastle's defence was a bit shaky, which was quite interesting to watch. Deanna Cooper tried to play out from the back. In doing so, was dispossessed by Muya, who had a fantastic game. Some people call her Moya, but I think it's Muya. Has anyone got any opinions on how we're pronouncing it?
It's
Paul?
Muya.
Muya, yeah, thought so. Thank you. Again, commentators, and they were like, Moya, and I was like, who? But yeah, Muya, good, lovely. Who had a very impressive game. The ball was recycled eventually to Geordie Hutton. Now, this one, if you haven't seen it, please go watch it. She was on the edge of the 18-yard box in masses of space, took her time, and sent a ball into the near post, curled straight past Claudia Morn, who probably could have done a bit more to save it, but for Charlton's sake, I'm glad she didn't, for 1-0. Newcastle then continued to dominate the half. They had attempts from Hales, McQuaid, Lumsden, Freya Gregory again, but all failed to find the back of the net. Ellie Brazil almost caught them out on the counter, but unfortunately Morn did save that one. And Newcastle went into the second half trailing by 1-0. All was not lost, however, as they were given a lifeline from the ref, a penalty shout. Penalty was given in the 65th minute as Charlotte Newsham was deemed to pull the shirt of Beth Lumsden on the edge of the box. Graham, however, got insider knowledge. He spoke to Charlotte Newsham after the match, and she was convinced that it was outside of the area, so it shouldn't have been a penalty, which I loved Graham, so thank you very much. Whitehouse was unfortunately sent the wrong way for the equaliser. But that was the only time Newcastle could get near. Whitehouse again palmed away a very well taken free kick by Beth Lumsden. Demi Stokes then hit the crossbar. But yeah, Newcastle really struggled. And the final chance was another superb strike from Beth Lumsden, which again, Whitehouse saved spectacularly. And I'm going to end it with the words of our Graham, who said, ends 1-1, a very good game of football. A draw is a fair result for me, which I wholeheartedly agree with. So thank you, Graham, for everything you contributed to that one. But yeah, it was a really good game and tighter than a lot of people would have thought. So yeah, massive point for Charlton there, taking them off Newcastle. Chloe Bear, feels like ages since I've spoken to you. We're going to come to you now for Portsmouth 1, Bristol 1. Again, a massive point for Portsmouth in that bottom of the table clash. Talk us through it, please.
Yep, a huge point for Portsmouth, and it feels like that they need every point that they can get at the minute because it's very close, and it's like we love a little bit of a close relegation race, don't we? Oh, probably not. But
It keeps it interesting, doesn't it? Keeps it interesting.
You don't like it when it's all done by like 3 weeks. Like 3 weeks.
It's done by Christmas. Yeah.
I quite like it going to the last day because it's quite fun in here. It just has a little bit of suspense and drama. But Bristol City took the lead when through Ella Powell, and to be fair, it was a pretty nice goal, if we do say so. Mary Ward sent the ball words. Don't know what they are. Sent
I'm just
across.
so excited.
I'm just so excited. I just love it, man.
Just bloody love football.
Bloody love football. Who needs words? No, so Bristol City took the lead when Murray Ward sent a cross towards the back post, but Ella Powell was just in the right spot to fire it into the top of the net from close range. It was perfect. But then Sophie Barker, Sophie Barker, I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay.
Sophie Barker,
Nice deep breath.
I'm just so excited. Sophie Barker then equalised for Portsmouth when she lofted the ball over the keeper and into the back of the net. But Bristol City could have had another goal, but it was disallowed after a player was pulled back for the throw-in. And it was also taken from the wrong place, which also, how can you take a throw-in from the wrong place? Make it make sense.
You throw the ball from where what didn't go out, Laurie.
You try and be cheeky with it, that's why.
Just be a bit naughty.
The influence,
nope, didn't happen.
it's the influence of the cows. There's my calves doing their thing again.
Just throw it in from there. They didn't see that. But Pompey started the second half strong. They were coming out to win. They wanted that win, but they were denied by keeper. But to be fair, it was each team had a chance, and each one of them could have got that second goal just to edge it to a win. But finished 1-1, and I think that Portsmouth will be happy with the point because a point's a point.
A point is a point. Hey, perfect match report. A point is a point. Thank you. But as Graham Wright says, throw-ins are never taken from the right place because everyone tries to be a bit cheeky and get a few yards down the line. We do have to congratulate, though, Carla Humphrey announced over the weekend her and her partner expect their first child. So congratulations to those. It feels like there's babies everywhere. And it's great. We absolutely love it. So congratulations to them. I have just noticed on Twitter, not that I wasn't listening, of course, but our friend Tom Gary is at the Festival of Women's Football Awards, and we've got some winners. Fallon Tullis-Joyce has won Goalkeeper of the Year, of course. Spectacular season. Myla Tessier wins Young Defender of the Year. The Fans Player of the Year award, of course, goes to Lucy Bronze. I think 3 million of the votes were from Chloe. And the Young Midfielder of the Year award goes to Arsenal's Kyra Cooney-Cross. And that's all that Tom has updated so far. And the latest was 9 minutes ago. So if we get any more through, I will let everyone know. But yes, very, very good indeed. Right then, we're coming back to me for the final one. And this is Birmingham 3, Durham 1. Again, keeping that title race alive. I was very worried at one point when it looked like Durham were going to do it and going to win it because they had some really good moments of possession, and you just thought, oh, are they going to do it? But no, Birmingham came back, and I'm going to tell you all about it. So Durham had the best opening chances of the half. French, who has been an incredible signing, by the way, if people haven't been watching, pulled off some incredible saves to deny the visitors scoring too early on. However, in the 23rd minute, from a set piece, French parried the initial effort and the deflection fell to Molly Lambert, who found the back of the net. Moments later, though, Simone McGill, Northern Irish superstar, surprised herself. It was quite funny if you watch her reaction back, as she equalised for the home side after putting the final touch on Lee Gyu-min's initial header into the box. So it was from a corner. So it comes in, everyone imagine. So it comes in from a corner. Lee Gyu-min flicks it on with her head, and then Simone McGill flicks it on with her head into the back of the net. And she was really surprised. When she turned around, she was like, oh, it's gone in. And that's exactly what she did, by the way, play-by-play. So that was for 1-1. Shannon Cook, if this effort had gone in, it would have been an incredible Thundy Bee. But her chance went slightly too wide. She took it from just inside the halfway line. It was incredible. So 1-1. at the end of the first half. Second half started then. Birmingham should have had another 2 or 3 goals on the score sheet, but they just weren't clinical enough. They just couldn't find the back of the net. Durham had a couple of chances, but again, nothing really there. With 10 minutes to go, it looked like Ava Baker was going to score. She just darted through the midfield, right in front of goal. Durham's keeper came out, tried to clear it. It then ricocheted off Baker and back to the feet of McGill, who then scored her second of the afternoon. The final goal then came from Australian international Emily Van Egmond, who I still can't believe plays for Birmingham City, as she was lingering on the edge of the 18-yard box. As the corner kick came in, as I said, she was lingering, so she was able to then shoot on the volley for 3-1. In the final moments, McGill nearly had her hat-trick, but the chance went just wide and the final whistle went at 3-1. So yeah, Amy Merrick's side still pulling off some cracking results to take them into second place, just 2 points behind London City. Now, we've had a little look at our predictions. So we've talked about Sheffield, Southampton being quite a key one. Of course, we've got Bristol, Sunderland. Sunderland had a rest this week. London City, Durham. Now, if Durham could do us all a favour and just beat London, that'd be great. Newcastle versus Birmingham. Again, Newcastle, if you just don't show up, that'd be great. And Portsmouth versus Blackburn, we've already said is going to be a very, very vital one to the end of this campaign as well. Brilliant. Right. Any other championship highlights anyone want to mention before we move on? Or are we good?
We're good.
I'll take that as being good. Okay. Okay, right. Before we go to the WSL then, we need to talk Champions League, don't we? So the first one, we'll start with the one that came first. This was Arsenal versus Lyon. And it was at the Emirates Stadium. Paul, Arsenal had just gone in off the back of a 5-1 win over Leicester, which granted Leicester aren't Lyon. But they had the confidence from the win. They know they could put goals away. They know they're scoring. But they didn't have the impact that they really wanted. They didn't look like they quite moved through the gears as much as they should. So yeah, what did you make of this one?
I was surprised that they kept that close, to be honest. Pardon me, because I expected Lyon to properly come out and try and win the tie in the first leg. Yeah. And when you looked at their lineups as well, I mean, Lyon's front three is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Shawinga Dumornay, which again was being pronounced 20 different ways, all of them wrong by his own commentary, and Kadidiatu Diani, who is horrifically underrated.
Yes, agreed.
She's like Sunday Baltimore in the sense that nobody realised quite how good Sunday Baltimore was while she was playing for PSG. And now she's come and played for Chelsea, and suddenly everybody's gone, Sunday Baltimore's really good, isn't she? And it's like...
Funny that.
Yeah, that's kind of... She's always been that. And Diani is like that, because when you watch her play for France, she's absolutely electric. And when you look at that front three, just when you look at Shawinga and think, okay, Tabitha Shawinga and Mercy Dumornay and Kadidiatu Diani is a ridiculous mix of pace and power.
Yeah.
For front three. And behind them, you've got basically one Euros winner, one World Cup winner, and one young player who has probably got a good chance of being a Euros winner at some point. So Lyon probably have better quality throughout their team.
Yeah.
And they didn't really show it for the first half. I mean, they were outshot by Arsenal, 11-10. Both shots on target were 4. Arsenal had more possession. And
even that, though, that's so much tighter than one it felt. because it didn't really feel like there was that much going on, did it? It just felt like, but yeah, even having Arsenal having one more shot I just didn't feel like it, did it?
And then, of course, the game itself, Diani scoring after 17 minutes.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much all that really happened of any note in the first half. Like, it's one of those games where you go, oh, Arsenal versus Lyon, it's two of the best teams in Europe. It's a Champions League semi-final. This is the quality of the games that you're getting. And it's like, is it, though? Because players like Caitlin Ford were anonymous. Beth Mead, was absolutely anonymous as well. And you start thinking, really? And then Arsenal were allowed back into the tie by the most shocking VAR decision I've seen. Coincidentally, on exactly the same day, or very nearly exactly the same day, as the most shocking decision men's football has ever seen, VAR related. A certain FA Cup semi-final, which we will...
Well, no one knew what it had stopped for, because no one had shouted for it. No one was really aware of what was going on. Then suddenly it was, and there's a pause and play because there's a VAR penalty check, and everyone was like, hey, why? So yeah, what were your thoughts on that, Paul? Because obviously for people who might have missed it, Endler went out, didn't she? But she went up to get the ball very clearly, but managed to accidentally bonk Leah Williamson on the head as she's gone out. So yeah, for you, yes, there was contact, but
if that's a penalty, there's 5 of them a game.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I believe I am of the opinion goalies need to be protected, because there needs to be the balance, because Leah Williamson was jumping into Endler, like it was a blatant full on kamikaze dive towards the ball, proper run up and full send arm up. It's like you've seen those going the other way, and you think that's an elbow to the goalie's head.
Yeah.
You know, if that's timed slightly differently, that's an elbow to the goalie's head. Instead, it was just a brush of Williamson's head. She completely missed the ball, and made contact with the ball as well. It wasn't like she prevented Williamson from scoring. And
and that's another thing, yeah.
If that challenge happens anywhere else on the pitch, then, well, obviously, if it happens anywhere else on the pitch, it's a free kick because it's our ball. But in terms of there's your rules analysis. But it's also a penalty. You look at that and go, really? If we're giving penalties for that, then there's penalties. There's penalties 5 or 6 games. Like Tony says, pre-VAR, that's never given.
Yeah, no.
It's never even considered as being given. It's a collision between a forward and a goalie, both going for the ball. And
unless it was particularly seen as an issue, but no one.
I worry that VAR is now causing a situation where, I don't want to say the game's too soft, but soft penalties are being given.
Yeah.
Because stuff that would have been considered a legit hard challenge previously.
Yeah.
Or the kind of thing that strikers go for the whole time. You know, Alan Shearer used to do that every single corner. He'd leap towards goalies. And he'd take some fearful whacks in the head. You know, Niall Quinn used to do it, to name a Sunderland player. Dion Dublin used to do it. Every big centre forward would leap into the goalie like that. And it would usually be given, if it was given at all, as a free kick to the goalie for interference. And now we're giving penalties for it. And
yeah, it's like,
game's gone.
Find where that line is and stick to it, because some are really soft, some aren't given at all, some challenges are just waved on, and you're just like, it all comes back to what we always talk about, is that standard needs to be the same throughout.
We also need to talk about the blatant hypocrisy, like Matthew says. Katie McCabe complaining about somebody else. Like, have we mentioned her whining about being mistreated by referees yet? We must have done. Like, honestly, shut up, Katie. Catch yourself on.
Because she had a calf strain. It's all those calves going back to Lorna.
It's like you are in the find out stage, Katie. Don't complain about it. You were fucked around for years, and now you are in the finding out stage, and you do not like it.
Oh, Paul Moores is after 9:30, right?
and so you are going. She's going to national media and complaining, and you're getting stuff like that where if that goes the other way, she's absolutely leaping into the goalie.
Yeah.
And then complaining that it's not being given.
Gets put back, yeah. And as Graham says, not exactly clear and obvious, which is exactly what VAR is meant to only intervene in and to be for. If it's not clear or obvious to anyone, then really why is VAR getting involved? Because Endler, of course, got a yellow card as well. And you just think, as a goalie, that puts you in a very, very precarious position, doesn't it? With that. So yeah, it's
and then justice was done. A few minutes later, because Mariana Caldente scored, because, to be fair, she scores penalties.
It's Mariana Caldente, yep.
That's what she does.
And then literally 4 minutes later...
Mathieu Dumornay.
Dumornay just completely tearing through that midfield. No one could stop her. And just, what a corker for the winner.
I don't know. The commentary was surprised. It's like, Mathieu Dumornay has really, really come on this season. It's like, did you see her dismantle the Lionesses single-handedly playing for Haiti in the World Cup?
Yeah. Remember when she did that?
It's like no disrespect to the rest of the Haiti team, but if she'd played for a European team, she'd have had 3 or 4 assists that game.
Yeah. But no, that's the thing, isn't it? It's what we talked about before. If you don't have a shirt that's, the top couple of clubs in Europe, people don't pay attention. As soon as you put on a shirt that people recognise, suddenly, you're the next best thing. And it's not fair in the slightest.
She rockets a shot into the top corner. Job done.
Yes, she did.
Justice was done.
2-1 though, Paul, isn't that bad going into the second leg. What do you think can happen in that return leg? Do you reckon Arsenal could find something or not?
No. I don't think they're beating it. And that's no disrespect to Arsenal. It's just, no, it isn't happening. And I think it isn't happening because Lyon know how to close out games once they have a lead. They're so experienced, and they will close this out. If Arsenal score first, it gets interesting. If Lyon score first, game over.
Yeah, because we're going to talk about the second semi-final, and what was common between this for both teams is that last portion, those last 10-15 minutes, were unfortunately their undoing. But before we go into that one, either Chloe, any comments on Arsenal Lyon that we haven't already mentioned?
Nope.
I think that's pretty much everything. No, I was going to say, Chloe, I know you were sunning it up at this point, trying to trying to watch a stream from somewhere. That's fine.
Not French. I wasn't in France. I was in Spain.
It was Julia Bartel of holidays.
It was all in Spanish. I don't even know what was happening. I was just watching
subtitles on.
I don't even know. I mean, I was in Malaga at the time, so I don't know what was happening.
That's Malaga, the well-known French resort town.
Yeah, I was in Spain. I wasn't even in France. I don't know where France.
Only
just walking past.
Only about 800 miles away from the French border, but Geography with Chloe. There we go.
I did geography at GCSE as well, and I passed.
Presumably it wasn't European geography.
I got a C, guys, so I've passed geography. Although none of my other GCSEs are actually useful at all. I got both Englishes and then dance.
You didn't see a map of Spain then?
No.
To be fair, as someone who teaches GCSE geography, there's not a lot of country knowledge that goes into there. Lots of rivers, lots of tectonic plates, lots of farming. No one says, here are the flags of the world, learn. No.
Do you know what? It's probably talking about Lyon in France. That you hear one thing and then you say it. It's like, oh, sorry.
Sorry, what were we talking about? So we will now go to Spain because Chelsea travelled to Barcelona in, again, what people thought would have been a much tighter game. But yeah, as we said, Arsenal and Chelsea both really struggled to see the game out, with unfortunately Chelsea coming off worse, which we don't normally get to say. Now, Chloe, as our Chelsea representative for the evening, what did you make of it? What went wrong, or were Barcelona just too good? What do you think?
Honestly, yeah, Barcelona were just too good and Chelsea were just poor on the night. Just, yeah, the quality just really told. I mean, we talk about VAR. We had yet another soft penalty call in this one, which I don't think anybody appealed for it. And it was supposedly Natalie Bjorn handball, because apparently her arms were in an unnatural position. Yeah, it's one of both soft ones, but luckily Hannah Hampton saved it, so justice was done. But yeah, I mean, Chelsea did put in a good account for themselves, but then Barcelona just ultimately just got their first goal and went from there. The first goal was, pretty good. Caroline Graham-Hampson played a sort of great through ball to Eva Payol, who managed to finish low to right. And that was pretty much it for the first half. And then not much sort of really happened early on in the second half. But then Barcelona added a second, unfortunately, which we all thought, okay, 2-0, that's fine. We can deal with that. That'll be fine. But yeah, I mean, we did get back into it with Katarina and Macario sort of playing some great football and played a lovely low ball across the pitch, which Gura Wrighton quite nicely did. Sort of dummied it, and then it went to Sandy Baltimore, who took a touch and then buried it to right-hand corner to make it 2-1, which I'm sure many of us Chelsea fans would have quite happily taken that to be just a goal down and going to the second leg.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was sort of late on where Barcelona just put the tie to bed. I mean, yeah, you had Claudia Pina, who had scored earlier on. She managed to provide, sort of whipping in the corner with Irene Paredes getting in on the end of it to make 3-1. Then 90th minute, just, I mean, the quality told, really. Had Alexia Putellas, who set up Claudia Pina with just back heel, like, come on, that's audacious. That's you're a great player when you can do something like that. And yeah, Claudia Pina managed to score the goal. Took a slight deflection off Millie Bright, but obviously it went in and she's credited with the goal. In fact, she's the tournament's top goal scorer with 9 goals currently. So that says it all. And yeah, Barcelona just dominated, really, and Chelsea were poor, and I mean, it could possibly get back into it, but it's a huge mountain to climb, and it's Barcelona. They're not going to give up goals easily, so I guess we'll see. If they do manage to pull it off, that'll be absolutely incredible, but yeah, we shall see.
Yeah, it'll be the comeback of the century if they managed it. Yeah, just reading through the chat. Thank you for everyone. Tony being very honest there. We had a game plan which Barca read through and sliced and diced. Then we rushed it. Captain Courier comes on, creates something, get one back, and a little later we collapse. Yeah, absolutely. Interestingly, though, there's been a lot of talk about the 2 former Barcelona players being the 2 worst on the pitch. Some people calling them double agents, trying to get the win for Barca again, as if that would happen. Paul, you are normally very complimentary of Barcelona. But the fact that they could make, I mean, Chelsea didn't play their best. Of course, we all know that. But the fact that Barcelona could then do that and dominate and get that scoreline against a side that we watch week in, week out, always get a win no matter what. I don't know, what did you think of this one?
Barca are an incredibly unlikable football club with very good individuals. And those very good individuals often make the difference. I mean, Claudia Pina is
incredible.
Yeah. Her goal celebration, by the way, is that, which I would love to see someone put her into the stands. Like,
that's not. Oh, I read something. It's not for loser.
Is it actually for like someone's name beginning with L?
It's for something. I remember reading it once. I tell you what, you keep going. I'll try and find it.
Because if it is, then fair enough. But based on, and I will take back that she needs to be put into the stands. She is an incredible footballer. And, she spends most of her time on the bench in the Champions League and comes on with still 9 goals in this season's competition. But they just suck the life out of games. They suck the joy out of football. Like, they are an incredibly good team, but it's really hard to like them when they have a transphobe and an alleged transphobe and sexual harasser playing at centre-back. Alleged. Yes. And Mappy, as long as Mappy Lyon is on that team now, then there is an incredible cloud hanging over them because she should not be on that team, full stop. The midfield is incredibly good, but possibly needs a bit of Erin Cuthbert putting them up in the air in the first minute of the return leg.
Yeah.
Which...
And just probably going for it.
Like, just... I am not normally one to advocate injuring a player, but I am certainly advocating any possible advantage. And if you can have Alexia Putellas or Aitana Bonmati looking over their shoulders, that every time they take the ball on the turn, someone's going to go through the back of them like a freight train. It's psychological.
If they know that opposition's going to be there.
The battle now for Chelsea is psychological. They cannot come out at the bridge and sit back. They have to just go swarm them like they did Man City in the first half hour.
Yeah, really go for it. Because a lot of people talking, and again, Rosie put something out that got absolutely decimated online. It was the foul on Ramirez, who, just got completely took out. There was no goodbye.
Yeah, she didn't try to play for a ball at all. Just
there was no attempt to play that ball at all. And you just think, you can't get away with that. We've got cameras everywhere. Come on.
They can because they're Barca.
But people will, and I've just taken someone out of the chat for being ridiculous, for causing trouble where there's none. You can literally see that she's not looking at the ball, she's not attempting to play it, and people going, it's shoulder to shoulder, it's fine. It's only shoulder to shoulder when you're both there and you're both going for the ball. If you
it's one of those things. It's one of those things where if that goes the other way, the worst fan base on women's football Twitter are absolutely losing their minds.
And that's the thing. It's one
if that's on Putellas or Bonmati or Guijarro, even if it's a perfectly legitimate challenge.
She literally did what Sam Kerr did to the pitch invader.
I mean, I'd have been proud of that playing ice hockey on a Thursday night. It was a beauty of a body check.
It was brilliant. Okay, I can confirm Pina draws an L in the air as a tribute to her younger sister Lucia. So it's not for loser. So she can stay on the pitch and not be booted into the stands.
In which case, I apologise to Claudia Pina. But
Well, there we go.
But Matthew jokes. Matthew presumably says it with tongues in his cheek a little, but every time Bob Matty gets the ball, she needs someone going through her, whether it be Cuthbert, whether it be Baltimore, whether it be anyone else in the midfield, whether it be Nuskin. Someone needs to go through Aitana Bob Matty, like
Really
properly.
bright.
Just
Really bright. Well,
as
if
you-
she's okay, she had an ice pack on Andy when she came off this evening.
I knew this would happen. I've been telling you.
Yeah.
just
Graham's
proper-
predicting some players will go down injured at every opportunity. Bon Matty pretending to hobble at the last game was last season was probably the standout moment.
Well, if she wants to pretend to hobble, make her hobble. Like,
You're gonna do it.
Not like actively injure, but just put the fear of God in her. Because
Again, it's that mentality, isn't it? What
she's
you're gonna
given far too much respect. This is where Chelsea need to get the Emma Hayes. This isn't flipping over.
Yeah.
And we are going to turn this game into a war because you want to keep the ball and play. If you want the ball, we are going to make you scared to have the ball because every time you have the ball, someone's going through you.
I wonder what Emma Hayes' reaction to that performance would have been. You just imagine some of the words that would have come out of her mouth. But then again, would they have played like? I mean, I know there's loads of factors and loads of variabilities, but yeah, you just think.
And don't forget as well, this is a Sonia Ron Pastor who coached the team that absolutely humbled Barca in the Champions League final a few years ago as well.
Yeah.
So she can beat Barca. The game plan didn't work for the away leg. But the dangerous thing about that is that now Chelsea are wounded and have absolutely nothing to lose.
Yeah.
And if I were Barca, I would be far more scared of Chelsea in this position than of a tight game where one mistake could decide it. Because now it's just, right, we'll have Bronze and Baltimore bombing on down the wings. We'll have Myra Ramirez causing absolute havoc and trying to turn Irene Paredes into tenderized meat and just beat the crap out of them. That is how you beat Barcelona. You beat the crap out of them.
Yeah, they need the fire to turn up and go, we're going to win this. We're going to score 10. We're
Obviously,
going to do
within the bounds of legality. I need to keep saying this.
Of course.
I am not advocating to injure players.
If anyone's watching the podcast for the first time, Paul does not advocate violence.
A hard physical game. Basically, play like Durham.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Chelsea need to channel their inner Durham and just go for it.
This is our effing field, and we are going to kick you off it.
Yeah.
Basically.
Well, exactly. At Stamford Bridge, what a place to do it. Lucy Bronze, of course, was caught on camera giving a very passionate speech at the end as well. Chloe Bear, when you want a player like that, just to have that emotion, don't you, after a game like that, to get you back into it. What were your thoughts about this match? And can they do it? Can they overturn the deficit?
I think it's a toughie. I think they potentially they could, because they're gonna be home at the Bridge, which we all know that being home gives such a big advantage, and but also they have lost to Barcelona previously in the Champions League, so it's nothing like. I don't know. It's tough. I mean, you could see the passion and emotion in Lucy after she was speaking, and you could tell she wasn't happy at all with the game or the result.
Yeah.
I don't know though. I think it's tough. I think it's really tough because you'd like them to. I mean, we were saying that we'd quite like it to be Arsenal Chelsea in the final, just to have that kind of English club.
Yeah, just have that English representation, to get through. And again, you got to think, Lucy and players like her she left Barcelona to come to Chelsea, try and win it with another team. So the fact that she's going into this 4-1, she's thinking, oh God, what have I done? Why didn't I just stay at Barcelona? Tony down the chat saying, I'm carefully hopeful. That's a good way to put it. Yep. Hope Sonia gets the midfield right this time. And again, have turned around from 2-0 to 3-2 up. Matthew says, if we score first, we could do it. We just can't afford to concede. Yeah, you don't want that mountain to get any higher. Yes. And again, that's this weekend. So again, more exciting stuff, which obviously, of course, means that the Villa, Arsenal and United Chelsea games have then been moved to the following Wednesday rather than the Sunday, which is annoying. But hopefully it works for both teams. But of course, we'll be talking all about it next week for the second leg. Right then, last league of the evening-ish.
Oh, before you do that, more winners have been announced for the Festival of Women's Football.
Oh, go on then.
So, the overseas player is Mariona Caladente. Aggie Beaver-Jones is the young attacker of the year. Manager of the year is Sonny B.
Sonny B, yep.
Maya Letitia has won Young Defender of the Year, but she's also won Defender of the Year, which is a little bit
double.
Yui Hasegawa is Midfielder of the Year. And
good. Yeah.
We love to see. And then the latest one is Attacker of the Year is Alessia Russo. So Aggie's young attacker, and then Alessia is attacker. But Alessia's only 26, so...
Why wouldn't they just say Forward of the Year? Because Attacker of the Year sounds...
like she's attacking... But Aggie's young attacker, so she she's just following Alessia around in a hood, like just...
Well, Arsenal have released a wonderful range of clothing.
Oh my God.
Whether it's from a tennis dress to a gold-plated suit with a cannon on it, I don't know. So yeah, just in 2 Arsenal hoodies just go around.
That is an interesting stat, by the way, from Maria, that Barca hasn't been beaten by 4 goals in 6 years.
Oh, hey, there's a time for everything. So yeah, Chloe, if you just tell Chelsea to step it up for the weekend.
But also, they'd never lost to Real Madrid in the Women's Classico. Exactly.
And it happened for the first time this season. So yeah, I still go by what I said. Barcelona look their most human and most mortal that they ever have done this season. So if it's a season to do it, this is the season to go for it. Paul, this one's for you. Tony says, I can inform you that Chelsea fan base now uses Chapel Road Hot to Go as cap for Capybara.
Finally! It only took them a season.
And as Graham rightly says, stats are there to be broken. Yes. And if anyone did want some stats for that game, Barcelona had 19 shots, only 9 were on target, compared to Chelsea's 4 shots and only 2 were on target. So if that doesn't tell you anything, Barcelona also had 601 passes and Chelsea had 336.
437 of them were sideways.
What?
436 of them went through Aitana Bob Matty.
But yeah, just some incredible numbers there. Right, yes, WSL. Hey. Chloe Bear, we're going to start with you because massive point. Hang on. Bear with. Hey. Where is it? Man City 1, Everton 1. Massive point. And it was home guard squared with the equaliser. Talk us through it. And we need to talk about Kirsten Casper as well. But yeah, talk us through it. Off you go.
We've taken 4 points off Man City this season.
Whoop, whoop.
What? I don't think that's ever been done before. It probably has been done before, but I don't think that's ever been done before. Like, we beat them at Walton Hall Park in December. I didn't go, so I went to watch Katie McCabe sue me. Sorry. But maybe I should stop watching games because they seem to do quite well when I don't watch. Like a point of City, 4 points against City. I'll take it. I'm very, very happy to take that point. Captain Claire, need I say more? I love Claire Wheeler, but her contract's expiring in the summer, and I kind of desperately needed to put pen to paper because I don't want to lose her. I love her. I think she's great. I think she's been so unfortunate with injury, and seeing her with the captain's armband and also hearing her speak after the game. I don't know if any of you saw the interview she gave, but she was like, it was on her wearing the armband, it was on her coming back, and I was like, oh, Claire, I love you. But also something I also just want to add, City have introduced this thing where they do like a song of the day, and it's picked by one of the players, and I just think it's really cool. It kind of gives you a little insight to their personality. Last week, I think it was Yui, and she picked Ready For It by Taylor Swift, which is also the song that they walk out to, like the dun dun. Oh, love it. Yeah. And this week it was Rebecca Kanak, and she picked The Greatest Show from The Greatest Showman.
I mean, what a song to come out to if you could talk to anything. Oh, incredible. And I love it. I
just quite like that feature. I just think it's something like individual. I mean, we all know City's where the money's at, City's where you want to go. But I just like that because I feel it just gives you a little insight, and it kind of lets you and allows you to get to know the players just a little bit more than you would normally. But yeah, so Home God Squared, I've got a fun little fact about Home God Squared when I find it.
Oh, God. We'd have
Sarah Homegard has assisted all of her sister's goals in the last 3 games. The last 3 goals.
Really?
Like the last 3 goals that
incredible
scored, Sarah's assisted.
Did you see the rather unfortunate graphic that the Women's Super League decided to try and put up for this?
So what did they do?
They put up a picture of the pair of them, and obviously with the fact that Chloe put, and it's one of those graphics that seem to be the trend in social media now, where you have the players and then just one big word which is supposed to sum it up. And they decided that they'd have sister in one colour and then add A and S at the beginning. Unfortunately, when you initially look at it, it just highlighted something which I'm assuming was not the... Yes, there we go.
What happens when you assume.
But I'm assuming that wasn't the intention, but you know, your eye is not drawn to sister in that word, is it?
No, because we're all still 12 and we look for the silly rude words that pops on screen. Because as Tony rightly said, the assisting sister, but anyone else of a certain age will have just sang the Sister Sister theme tune, but just changed it to a Sister Sister, which is what I was doing the whole time.
Memories of Channel 4 mornings.
Channel 4, say Nickelodeon. I had Nickelodeon. Sister Sister was cracking, by the way. Like what a program.
That Channel 4 morning, they had Hanging with Mr. Cooper as well, and Sister Sister, Sharky and George, which had the best cartoon theme ever that wasn't the raccoons. Anyway, that's derailed it.
So back on track.
Let's get back on track and talk about something amazing that Kirsten Casper did.
Yes.
Yes. I'll get onto the 20s in a minute because we love them. But Kirsten Casper opened the scoring after 13 minutes. But Emily Ramsey was in goal for this one. I was a little bit surprised because I thought, our court's been doing like really well. I kind of missed her on the pitch, I can't lie, but you could still hear her shouting from the bench, which is like some things never change. And Brian Sorensen also announced that he's become a dad for a second time this week as well, which is like, we love him. Did you see the baby? Did you see the
baby pictures were very cute?
Yeah. Did you see the baby got that said, "I'll never crawl alone"? Which I found absolutely hilarious, and I'm like, that is.
Did it say I'd rather crawl alone?
Yeah.
Like, yes. That's even more petty than Everton's club shop. Like,
And the blue ketchup at Bramley Moor Dock.
pardon?
Oh, at Bramley Moor Dock, Everton's new stadium, they've got blue ketchup because they won't have red.
Oh,
That's
no.
phenomenal. That's absolutely phenomenal.
I'm meant to talk about something very serious here, but it's hilarious.
No, that every day we stray further from God's light. Blue ketchup.
They've got blue ketchup because they refuse to
Wow.
have any red in the stadium.
Oh, I love that.
It's
That's
great.
a brilliant level of petty.
The level of petty I aspire to be in life. It's just so,
You two
yeah.
can build a stadium and only have your colours inside it, no matter what. Yes. Oh,
Yes,
good.
back to it.
Um,
It's just funny. It's great. But
Yeah.
Kirsten Casper, who we absolutely adore, like she opened the scoring. She kind of Lily Murphy provided the assist with a header, and Kirsten just got it past Rambo. It was a bit of a messy goal, but you know what? She'll take it. She celebrated by holding up Mary Fowler's shirt, she had an ACL injury last week, and it's really not great for City's rep because they've already got such a huge list of absences. But
Yeah.
what she did after was even better. She had a wristband with the transgender flag colours on it, and she kissed it, and
Yeah.
it's one of those photos where it says more than could ever be said. Like,
100%.
this is such, I mean, I can't speak from experience because obviously it's not happening to me, but what's happening in the world with, transgender people, it's awful, it's shocking. We see you, we feel you, we want to stand with you, we support you, and seeing Kirsten do that for someone who is, a trans person, it will mean more to them than she might ever know. Like, I feel like Kirsten has always been the person who has spoken out on these topics. She's always been the first to talk about like LGBT rights. She's been the first to, mention about one of the first to mention about the transgender people on her Instagram. She's a queen, I say. I think she's absolutely incredible and amazing, and what she's using this platform to do, even if it just reaches one person or reaches 100 people, someone will see that and be like, I know I'm not alone in this, and I know that this is something that means so much to so many, and it's just one small gesture, and that's the way it needs to just keep going.
100%. And the fact that she is so unapologetically openly queer as well on social media, and just making sure that there is space for everyone and remembering everyone. And on her Instagram, actually, she said her captions, as always, are always very, very clever, aren't they? So, started sweet, stuck in the toffee later, 1 goal, 1 point. Sometimes there's bigger, more important things than football. My goal today was dedicated to all of my trans siblings who've had an incredibly tough and heartbreaking week. You've all been on my mind and in my heart. You deserve so much more than what this government and society is giving you. I'm so incredibly proud of the trans existence within the queer community, and I'm proud of all trans women. You are women no matter what anyone says. And we just want to say on the podcast that we echo that 100%. And this will always be a safe space for everyone. And just the fact that she did that so visibly was incredible.
It's important as well, like you say, because people are trying to hijack women's football now, and people are using trans women in sport as a Trojan horse for all their hatred and bollocks. And you had the horrific discussion, obviously, last Wednesday as well, with the Supreme Court decision.
Yes,
and how if you read the logic of that, it technically doesn't say trans women aren't women, but it basically does, and it is being used to attack trans people in horrific ways. and the worst people on the internet are very, very happy about it.
Mm.
And so for someone like Kirsten Casper to do that is huge. Well, we can see in the chat because Emily's mentioned it. Our very own trans person in the chat who in the past has talked about when we were talked about the stuff with Barbara Banda and all that stuff, and has mentioned that it's not a pleasant place to be. And, you know, we can all sit here and say we don't know what it's like because we don't, but we can see, and any decent person can see it. And it was nice that the fact that that picture went out and it was almost universally responded to.
Yeah.
With go on, Kirsten.
Yeah, everyone get behind it, 100%. And that's, you know, people with a platform should be using it for that reason, for this good, and for making sure that these big topics are being spoken about, and that everyone knows that they do have a place in this world, regardless of what some ridiculous people do say. So yeah, we just really wanted to highlight that and make sure that moment did not go unnoticed or untalked about. Right then, moving on. Chloe, we'll come to you. Oh no, Chloe, we didn't have you for another one because we had you talk about Chelsea. Never mind. Right, okay. Paul, we're going to come to you because Olivia Smith unstoppable again, and this one was Brighton 1, Liverpool 2. But there were some injury concerns as well. So yeah, what is going on at Brighton, do you think?
I just think they, for whatever reason, they've just not kicked on. I mean, Michelle Aguimang scoring was a bright spot for them after 48 minutes. But they somehow, for a home game, just hadn't got off the bus. Like 2 minutes in, Olivia Smith doing Olivia Smith things with pace and power.
Yeah.
And scoring after 2 minutes. And once again showing that in the summer, she is going to be the prime transfer target in the WSL. I think there's going to be all sorts of raids from Chelsea, Arsenal, Man City, Man United, possibly.
Yeah, loads of people predicting that, yeah.
But like, you can't say enough. She was being kicked all over the pitch again, and she obviously had to leave the pitch after a challenge from Poppy Pattinson, who has form against Liverpool for slightly questionable position. She stamped on Sophie Roman Haug as well, and just Liverpool, when they're on, they're really on, and they were on in that first half. And like Emily says, it could have been 3 or 4-0.
Yeah. Yeah, if they were just that little bit more clinical.
And perhaps should have been. And Liverpool scoring twice, Olivia Smith, Leanne Kiernan, hatless Leanne Kiernan, which to the disappointment of everybody, scoring just before half-time. And then Liverpool just kind of didn't really kick on that much. And Brighton made it interesting. Michelle Aguimang scoring after 48 minutes. And then it was very much two teams kind of back and forth, but you never really got the feeling that Brighton were going to come back into it after that first goal. Because it's, you know, they were outshot 11-5. That goal was their only shot on target, Brighton's only shot on target as well.
Oh, really?
Even though they had more possession, they had ever so slightly more possession, 58-42. But a lot of that possession wasn't in key areas. They were playing in front of Liverpool rather than trying to get in behind them. And Liverpool under Amber Whiteley look like they're now starting to set up and go, right, okay, now we're setting in a style of play for next season. And that is interesting from Emily. I didn't realise Liverpool have said that it would require a world record fee to prize Olivia Smith away.
Yeah, 5-year contract. I mean, even for the women's game, 5-year contracts are incredible, aren't they? So yeah, the fact that I mean, they're not going to get rid of her. She's been their best player. But you never know if someone throws
world record fee. If someone throws 1.5-2 million,
yeah, could do a lot. Could do a lot for a women's team, couldn't it?
but the trouble is, would it be used to do a lot?
Well, it should be used to do a lot. Should.
I don't think. I was talking about this because it was interesting. You know, we were talking about Villa. They have released their accounts. They lost £2 million last season as a women's team.
Yep.
And that is before this season with Gabby Nunez and Missy Bro-Kearns, who apparently Missy Bro-Kearns was a 6-figure sum. And I do wonder if the thing we're seeing with transfers now, that some teams, of which Liverpool are perhaps one, haven't yet caught up with, is the average transfer fee is rising. Like,
yes.
all we're talking about is these big splashy signings, but the average transfer fee is rising. And if I'm Liverpool's owners this summer, I go, right, okay, the Everton are going to go hard this summer with their new owners. This is where we go out and we make a statement signing. Someone like Marie Antoinette Katoto, who is a free agent.
Imagine.
Because then you'd basically then have almost a little larger front, because you put her up front with Sophie Roman-Haug, and suddenly Liverpool will have a very, very dangerous strike force indeed.
That would be incredible. Yeah. Katoto on WSL. Yeah, I could see that. And yeah, everyone in the chat, thank you for that. Apparently Villa paid $100,000 for Missy. I'll say it when talk about Villa in a minute, but yeah, Missy Bro-Kearns is fantastic at under 23s, and it's getting that consistency in the WSL, and it's that clearly a payment for the future for what she can bring and the talent that she has. So yeah, it's a weird world, isn't it, of transfer fees, because some of them reflect the player and the impact, some don't, it's a very, we're in a transitional phase, aren't we, within women's football. But yeah, I mean, a massive 3 points for Liverpool there. Brighton going into, as you said, a bit of a free fall. But the mid of that table, they're pretty safe, aren't they? There's not going to be much movement there. Liverpool do jump ahead into 5th place after that on 24 points, with Brighton on 22, and West Ham and Everton swiftly behind on 20. So yeah, there's only really that standout Palace at the bottom of 9 points. Right, Chloe, we'll come back to you for this one, because another pretty nothing match of the weekend. West Ham 0, United 0. So a good point for West Ham. They've managed to take points off some of the big teams this season. But yeah, just a bit of a not much.
I mean, I feel like we've really missed a trick not calling it the Skinner Derby.
Oh, well done. See, this is why we have you on. Wonderful. Well done.
Proves there's more than one way to skin a cat.
I mean,
I hardly know her. Sorry.
Look, I hardly know a joke. It's my favourite type of joke.
As soon as we watched the announcement video for Drag Race earlier, I was like, I need to get a Drag Race joke in there somewhere. So you are. Yeah. Yes. So football. So yeah, how was this one?
Boring.
Boring.
As you'd expect from a Skinner derby.
Skinner squared.
Oh. I mean, the best chance fell to Liz Turland, who the header just brought out King of Sesmic, and she punched the ball away. Like, that's the most interesting thing that happened. It was just very back and forth with the ball, and it's like, oh, just somebody do something.
Yeah, someone be a bit creative. Yeah.
I have found some fun stats. So
Oh, go on
you've
then.
got that.
We love a fun stat.
So 18 of West Ham's points have come from being at home, with only the top 4 teams, as in the top 4 of the table, not just top 4 in life, having better. Well, my top 4 different to everyone else's top 4. Only the top 4 teams having better home records. Rhiannon Skinner, Miss Skinner, as we'll call her, side have lost twice in 10 home matches.
Okay.
Pretty impressive. Unbeaten in past 5, and just conceded 12 goals.
There you go.
Unbeaten in last 4 league games, and they avoided defeat against City, Tottenham, Chelsea, and now United, which is essentially like a top 3 in the table, and then Tottenham.
So you think really, if they can do that, where's the excitement? Where's the football? Where's it gone? If you can do it, and Emily's absolutely right. By the sounds of it, it sounds as exciting as Sheffield Blackburn. Yeah. Now. And shall I? Was there anything else, Chloe, by the way, from that one you want to talk through?
That Mark Skinner's side had 66% possession, 17 shots to 10, and had 44 touches in the box. But West Ham held firm and got a point. But United's next fixtures are literally their competitors for getting Champions League, Arsenal and City, which is, to be fair, that top of the table is tough. Who's going to get that 3rd Champions League place? Because if Chelsea drop points on Wednesday, then Arsenal could Arsenal are only 3 points behind Chelsea. If Chelsea drop points and Arsenal, I was about to say Arsenal gain points, but if they get 3 points, and they could essentially just be 1 away, it's
Chelsea drop points again. Would if we ever see the Chloe's no, they're not going to drop points.
I'm just having chaos. I'm bringing the vibe.
However, I will say that Chelsea are probably thriving off the fact of Arsenal are actually pushing us now. They could come within our points. They're not so far out in the lead anymore that they can comfortably get to the end. So yeah, it's
if Villa beat Arsenal, they go top. Sorry, if Arsenal beat Villa, they go top.
Why would you say that to me? It's a bit rude. When Arsenal
fair enough. See, they don't go top. Thank you, Scott, Mr. Arsenal Podcast, for pointing out that they are in fact 6 points ahead.
Because they're 1 ahead, of course, because they played this evening.
Because they played their game in hand.
But that's okay, because then they play on the Wednesday against Villa, and we'll all catch up at some point. But yeah, so they've just got that little extra. So Chelsea now on 51 points after tonight. Yes, good. And I will tell you why that game was so boring. Because Villa won, guys.
Whoa!
Villa won 3-2, 5 goals went in.
Official ding dong.
Official ding dong. The first back-to-back wins of the season. Can we just have a moment? And I want to talk about the first half. Don't really want to talk about the second half. Because it was just but what a good old game we support in this pod. So yeah, back-to-back wins, as I said, for the first time this season. The first half was like the Villa of old, what we keep harking back to. It was attacking, it was quick, it was fluid. Just everyone was like, oh, it's quite nice this, watching it. Refreshing. I do think it's mainly to do with Lucy Staniforth back in midfield, though. The way she commands that midfield and just links everything is incredible. The first goal came from her free kick, actually. And even though it initially hit the crossbar and Kopp kind of jumped to try and save it, as the ball comes back down, it comes back down in front of the goal. And Anna Patton just gets ahead to it for 1-0. And you just think, can this happen? Because we did on our Thursday pod, the Villa pod, we talked about it and we were like, right, okay, Spurs, we can probably get a point. So when that goal went in, we were like, do we dare to dream? Can we get the 3? And then Spurs didn't really turn up the first half much at all. Their best chance came from Suminen's free kick, which led to chaos in the box. How it didn't go in, I do not know. Villa couldn't clear it. Spurs couldn't score it. So it just kind of all went to pot. But luckily, 1-0, half-time, Villa, great. But still, try not to get too excited. Ebony Salmon, when she's on it, is incredible. So she was dangerous all the way through, looked confident. Her, Grant and Daly were working really well together up front. And a lovely long ball over the top, dropped to Salmon and showed her speed. And she just zoomed straight through, split the defence, doubled Villa's lead. And that was Salmon's only her second goal of the season, if you can believe it. Only her second league goal. And you just thought, right, 2-0, they're not going to lose that, are they? And then they did. So Jess Naz, of course, we all know what she can do. She was a threat all match. Finally got her goal in the 65th minute from a corner. The last set piece was awful, so we knew probably this one was going to be too. Fell to her feet in the box, found a little pocket of space, and she was able to put it away for 2-1. And then it happened again. And not going to lie, a couple of times Sabs has done this now, so it's not fun anymore. A long ball, lots of long balls in this match. Long ball at the top again, found Ella Morris. No one was with her. No one expected that pass at all. Maz Pacheco, shout out to Maz for getting back in the starting lineup. Maz's speed, if no one's ever watched her and Ebony Salmon could just, speed of light. So Maz was trying to get to her. Now, Sabs has made the decision to come out of a goal, came far too far, mistimed it completely. And we don't know if Maz then tried to slow down because she didn't want to collide with Sabs or what happened. But yeah, Ella Morris just skipped around Sabs and had an open goal. Maz did her best to try and cut the angle down, but it just wasn't enough. And she was able to convert it for 2-2. And you thought, oh God, don't throw away a 2-0 lead to lose. Like, just keep the point. Just keep the draw. Like, we'll take the point. But then super sub Kirsty Hansen comes on and does what she does best. For the second week in a row, she's been subbed on and then scored the winner. Now, Grant on the wing under some pressure, found some space in midfield. And again, the speed from Kirsty Hansen. If you've watched her for Villa for Scotland, you'll know that she does this. Just outruns Bartrop and Neville in the Spurs defence. And pretty similar to Salmon's goal, actually. Just find some space, find it in the back of the net. In the first minute of 6 minutes of stoppage time, so right at the end of the game, she got the winner. And you just thought, right, Spurs haven't created anything in a while. Can they do anything in these 6 minutes? And thankfully they couldn't, and it was great. So ultimately, Villa did win 3-2. They are now 7 points clear of Palace. And if someone's just said this in the chat to confirm it, if Palace lose or draw on Sunday, then Villa are safe. And we're good, and it will officially be Palace going down. So, after all of this worry and nonsense of the league, Villa finally might be safe with 3 games to go, and it's just a massive sigh, massive sigh of relief. But it shows that Villa can do it. The talent is there, the quality is there. It's just been a case of finding the right manager, finding the right system, and going to that next space. So yeah, Kirsty Hansen annoyingly isn't starting. I genuinely think she should be, but she's going to come on and be a super stub and be used more as a forward, as a striker, and it's working. Then there we go. Yeah, and as Mr. Arsenal podcast says, there only Spurs can make a comeback. And then Spurs it up. So, yes, absolutely. And it was a birthday goal for Anna Patton as well.
Did anyone see, by the way, Manchester United fans desperately trying to claim that goal? Because Kirsty Hansen played for Man United at one point.
I've never seen it. Really?
Really? Oh, Kirsty, behave.
Oh, get lost. Absolutely not. You didn't want her. You didn't play her. That's why we've got her. So no, those people can get stuffed. So yeah, as Matthew says, great result for Villa. Pretty much skewed them, as with Spurs. Obvious without Beth England, Spurs are a championship side. Oh, I think Villa Ham's time is running out. Yeah, there's got to be some massive, massive questions asked there. If Maz and Ebbs had a race, who would win? I think Maz might edge it, you know. Well, we'll have to ask them in training who's gonna win.
I'm just that Spurs are a championship side without Beth England.
Yeah. They're just lacking creativity, aren't they? So they've got nothing really there. Stats wise, Spurs did outshoot Villa 17-14, but Villa had more shots on target, 7-5. So it wasn't a low chance match by any means. But
I mean, I'm flabbergasted by that, genuinely, only because Spurs' front three is an England international, a Scotland international, and a Sweden international.
Martha Thomas, though, has not been herself this season, has she? So, again, who knows what's going on? But yeah, I just think they haven't reached their potential at all. Spurs. I don't know what they're playing with. So yeah. But that rounds up the WSL. And it's Villa with a win. So coming up this weekend then, /Wednesday, we've got Liverpool Spurs, Palace West Ham. Again, if West Ham could just beat Palace, that'd be great. Everton Brighton, that's going to be a good one. Hopefully a win for Everton. Leicester Man City. You know, can City, pull something back to try and regain a bit of confidence just for the end of the season? Or can Leicester do something there? Who knows? And then, as we said earlier, the rearranged fixtures of Villa, Arsenal and United Chelsea have been rescheduled to Wednesday with some annoying kickoff times. So, yeah, if you are a travelling fan, be very careful and just look after yourselves because there'll be some late nights getting back there. Now, we were just going to do a quick update of the NWSL, so I'm literally just going to put the table up. Danny's KC Current topping the lead at 15. Chloe's Orlando Pride, 12 points. But joint Paul's Washington Spirit on 12 as well. My San Diego Wave are down there on 7. Quite annoying. But I will say this, fun fact of the weekend, Portland Thorns, as you can see, they're in 5th. They won 4-1 against Gotham last night or this morning. All 4 of their goal scorers, they were the first for their club. So there you go. There's a fun stat. So yes, it was all going on. So remember, the NWSL has pretty much just started. So that will be your football fix when all of our English and European leagues do finish indeed. Now, I think we'll wrap that up there. Now, if you have enjoyed the pod, of course, remember that we're always here on a Wednesday at 8:30-ish, talking about all the latest news from the world of women's football. We were early tonight, if anyone missed it, 8:32 we were live, so there we go. And of course, we've got Premier League on a Tuesday, also on a Wednesday, and Lower League on a Thursday as well. And again, we've got a little teaser coming on the pod account about something about Lower League. So keep your eyes peeled for that announcement very, very soon. We know most of you do already, but if you haven't, please do give us a like, follow, share, subscribe, anything that you can to follow all of the latest news. So on Twitter, we are at Absolute Ball Pod, YouTube at Absolute Football Podcast, and the same on Twitch. TikTok, we are at Absolute Football Pod, and the same on Instagram, just add an underscore at the end. On Blue Sky, we are at Absolute Football, and Facebook, the Absolute Football Podcast as well. Now, I can never do this alone, so thank you all for joining. Chloe, #FakeFan, where can people find you, if you'd like them to, please?
So you can find me on all socials, so like Twitter, Instagram, X is Twitter, Blue Sky, just all everywhere. Social media, just everywhere at ChloeBeth529. It's the same handle for all.
All of the Chloe Bez roll. And of course, Graham's reminded me, become a member as well. So when you go on YouTube, you can become a member to get some really cool emojis. Just for members, so you can go there. And our second Chloe of the evening, where can people find more of you, please?
They can find me on Twitter at ENG Lionesses.
Very good. Thank you very much. And even our great leader, Sam, there. Great show, everyone. Thanks to everyone for supporting the pod. Yes, we love you all. To everyone watching, massive numbers tonight. So thank you very much. And Paul, where can people find more of you, please, if you'd like them to?
If I can point properly. At Paul W Radio, and basically you add the little blue sky thing on the end, which I haven't posted on ages because I'm bad, but it's hard trying to post the same thing. No, we're not all Barca fans. Scott, sorry.
Paul will never be a Barca fan.
If there is one team left in football, I will stop watching football. If only, to use those means, if Barca are left, I'll watch cricket instead.
Yeah, at the end of the world, if there is one team, Paul will still not support them. But yeah, I think as an English football community, would love both Arsenal and Chelsea to get there. But you know what? We just want a good game of football. That's what we want. Chelsea to turn up, Barca to turn up, Lyon and Arsenal to just all go for it. And, let the best football team win at the end of the day. No more 0-0s, no more Sheffield Blackburns, which is now going to be the standard of all crap games, by the way. Is it a Sheffield Blackburn? And if you have enjoyed it, I'm at T Wright as well across most things, or at the whole 115 yards as well. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching, listening, subscribing, etc., etc. And we'll be back next Wednesday as usual with all of the latest updates. So thank you, good evening, and good night. Good night.